Hi everybody! So for today's DIY, we are going to be doing a Loth-Cat costume, kind of cosplay-ish, but more bounding-ish. And the reason this came about was, as you can see, I've done the Sabine look for a few times for 2 different Star Wars nights and FanX. So this has kind of been an easy go-to look for me. And when we first saw Sabine in this attire and hairstyle, it was like no-brainer. I wanted to do this. So that has been going on for a little while. But my niece, when she saw the Loth-Cat, she just thought that was the cutest thing ever. And I ended up having this idea of figuring out how to make a Loth-Cat costume, but doing it in a way that would be easy and not too hot, especially for going to events like FanX. It can get really hot in there. So anyway, I can't remember how it came up, but once she heard of the possibility of being a Loth-Cat, it was never to be determined to be anything else. Basically, when she puts her mind to something, it is going to happen. So that was talked about nonstop for months, and so I thought I would just share this video with you and let me know what you guys think and how it turns out. So, and then be sure to check, I will put up another video or blog post with all of the links for my Sabine look also, because it's basically, I just pieced it together. I created the patches, I designed them, and so I'll probably put those available on my website actually if you guys are interested. So let me know, and I will put all of the links below for those references as well. So let's get started on our little Loth-Cat. Okay, you can see I have my reference picture here and glue gun with glue sticks, of course. And then we will need wire. I used 9 gauge. And our animal hooded scarf. I didn't put this in on the video, but paint and a stiff brush, a comb to brush it out, a fishing line, and curved needle. We have our white fur. I used 1/3 of a yard. And the tan, I just found this at Joann's, but I did find a link for you guys that is the same 9x12. It made it really easy. Scissors, pliers, and a razor blade. Okay, let's get started. All right, so you can see I am just kind of eyeballing the initial height of the ear, and once I get one kind of shaped how I like it, I suggest using that as almost like a template. It makes it super easy to measure out your wire. As you can see, I am still trying to figure out the placement of the camera, but go ahead and shape your wire to look a little more like the Loth-Cat ears. And then I'm going to take my tan fur and start gluing it in place. It's really forgivable, so it's really awesome. Like, it blends really well, so I don't have to worry about being precise. All right, when cutting fur, make sure to use a razor blade and just score that top. You can even tear it apart, but that way you're not cutting all the way through the fur. And it keeps the edges natural. Okay, so once I kind of glue the top edges around, I am using my fishing line. I am doubling it up, and then I tie the end, and then we're gonna kind of fit it to that ear and sew the wire around the wire so that it kind of has that placement, and I kind of adjust it as I go. You can kind of see me doing that throughout it. And yeah, and then we make sure to kind of go back through the back, and I kind of tuck it a little bit so that there isn't that harsh line. Okay, once you get both ears sewn on, I kind of pin and place, folding those natural ears down. It kind of is going to help keep it in place and give it a sturdy base. Okay, so now I am using the paint. I watered it down significantly and I kind of adjusted it as I go, so you can do the same. The one thing that I would suggest doing, that I would do different next time, is making it darker. Later when you see me brush it out, you can see how light it looks in comparison, and I did kind of darken it already. You'll kind of see, but I think I would do even darker. I would almost even go more towards a blackish brown. I would have added a lot of black into that brown color. So you can see how I'm going to place the other piece over, which I had kind of pre-cut. And this allows for that natural fur to go up into the painted portion. So once I kind of get those in place, I do sew that front piece to the base of the hood. I did glue the top part, which worked out great. So you can kind of see that I kind of make adjustments and kind of decided I needed a little bit more throughout the painted spots that I did as it was kind of drying. I wanted to get in there a little bit more. So now on the spots, I am doing kind of a dabbing motion to get that in, and I do go back over them pretty significantly as well. But the great thing about the Loth-Cat spots they are very forgivable, and you can basically do whatever. Even if you kind of drip or whatnot, it's perfect because it kind of adds that natural spotting to it that every Loth-Cat has a little differently. They're not specific spheres either. They're very organic looking. Okay, moving on to the tail, I used 1/3 of a yard of fabric, so I'm kind of creating that base that's going to pin to the base of her skirt. And then I kind of fold it over and get that natural Loth-Cat tail look so that it extends thicker towards the end. I turned it inside out once I got that base done, and this way it leaves the seam on the inside. So you can see I'm still, again, trying to figure out this camera angle, and I thought I had it figured out, but it looked like it may have like lowered a little bit. So it does kind of cut off. So you don't see me do the full tail sewing, and the tail was moving as I went. Okay, so now I turned it back out, and the end of the Loth-Cat tail is pretty fluffy, so I literally just sewed it straight across basically. And the great thing about the fishing line is it's clear, so you really don't end up seeing it anyway. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and paint the striping on the tail, and I did this pretty quick, honestly. Again, I would have done darker. I would have made the paint darker. And you can see I do the main striping first, and then I kind of go in and do a little bit of shadowing just to give a little bit more naturalness to it. And I added a few little spotting on the actual hood itself. You kind of see me do that throughout the thing. So the next morning, it was all completely dry, and you can see here's where I'm talking about, like, I'm brushing out the fur with a wire brush. Yes, it is my dog's brush. Luckily we don't have any allergies or anything to worry about,
And if I were doing a client's, I would not be using my dog's brush, but I wanted to test it out before investing in anything specific, and it worked out really great. So the one thing with brushing this out is you do need to go with the grain of the fur. So I do start at the top of the stripe and I work my way down, but I'm brushing upwards towards the grain of the fur. So now I am stuffing the tail. I ended up not having batting, so I just used paper towels and it worked great for this. I think I will probably add some more fluff to it once we get back and I have a little bit more time to go grab that or order that. But it worked out great and it's still super fluffy. And then I kind of just brushed a little bit more as needed. And here she is. Oh, she was so cute. Everybody loved her Loth-Cat, especially once they realized that that's who she was. We did do a shirt with the Loth-Cat on it. And then she had this white skirt already and then did the long sleeved black shirt and pants. Here were some of Loth-Cat's favorite meet and greets that she saw at FanX. And here is Sabine adopting her Loth-Cat. Did a fun little edit. Thanks for joining me and watching. Let me know in the comments below how you like this and if you're going to try it out to add a little Loth-Cat to your costuming this year.